Damn, welcome back to another episode of Dogs on the Couch, where everybody's allowed to have an opinion. It does not matter if you played the game you were watching. So you're allowed to have an opinion as well. I always be forgetting to say this because I just be so anxious to get into the content. Please, like, comment, subscribe, share, especially subscribe. It's free of charge. Doesn't cost you a dime, okay? And it really means a lot to me. I greatly appreciate it. I have been seeing, the subscribers go up one by one, slowly but surely. And for everyone who is subscribed and views my videos on the regular, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. It's a wonderful thing, man, to know that, I can get some type of engagement and entertain as well. Just doing something that I love to do, man, which is talk about sports. Cause I could never get enough. It's what I love to do, man. It's built into me. It's my core. So, by all means, like, comment, subscribe, share if you can. Get in the comment section. Even if you don't agree with me, get down there in the comment section and tell me why you don't agree with me. Okay? And you never know, man. If you got an email link, come on here. You come right on, man. We can have a debate anytime. I'm ready. Okay? But with that being said, Game 7. There's a lot of Game 7s that had happened. I actually watched all of them. Boston, that was crazy how they went out, jacking up all them threes. Man, Boston just couldn't get out their own way, could they? Jacking up the threes, that was absolutely crazy. But anyway, forgive me. No, I'm not here to necessarily talk about the other Game 7s right now. There's one in specific. So the Cavs were able to, pull this thing out. Pause. It was looking dicey, especially that first quarter. I mean, even just from the jump of the game, like we ended up getting a steal, go down to the other end. Jared Allen with a wide open dunk, and he misses it. You know what I'm saying? Rimmed right out when he went to throw it down. I looked at that, I'm like, ooh wee, is it about to be one of these type of games? For the first quarter, it was definitely that type of game. And like halfway through the second quarter, to be honest, it was giving this feel of it was gonna go the same way that we've kind of watched the previous, games, especially the games that were in Toronto. The same way we watched those games go, where it's like, the Cavs would kind of catch up, but they could never quite get over the hump. Fortunately for the Cavs and for Kenny Atkinson, in this game in particular, once they were able to get over the hump, which came right there at the start of the third quarter, they pretty much never looked back, after that. You know what I mean? Couple instances here or there where Toronto had went on, some decent little runs and whatnot, but ultimately, the Cavs were able to withstand and outlast. Credit. I want to hand out some credit in this Game 7 win from what I was watching. Major players in this game. Donovan Mitchell, who struggled but then was able to turn it on late. So I feel like Donovan Mitchell ended up having a good game overall. You know what I mean? Could it have been better? I mean, yeah, but for all intents and purposes, he was able to turn it on and and spearhead, and spearhead a major part of us winning. Jared Allen. Man, way to go, Jared Allen, man. I can't say enough about Buddy. I mean, Jared Allen was all world. And not only that, for some odd reason, there was like this level of fight and intensity and, dare I say, toughness that seemed to just be pouring out of him for the third and fourth quarter of that basketball game. There was a different, now I mean, as far as the production We've seen that before, especially since acquiring James Harden. The production level we've seen out of Jared Allen before like that, but the fight, the passion, the intensity, and like I said, dare I say, the toughness that seemed to be just pouring out of him in those third and fourth quarters. I mean, it just seemed like it was something that we had been clamoring for, ever since pretty much the acquisition of Jared Allen, especially after we got a chance to see him in the playoffs. And he had the comment of, the lights being too bright and all that old kind of thing. So, we just been looking for Jared Allen to kind of, take that next step as far as attitude, if you will. You know what I mean? Fight, grit, toughness. Like, that's kind of what we were looking for from him. And I don't know. I don't know if it's something that'll remain there going forward, but Game 7, I couldn't ask. I feel like in that particular moment, every narrative that there was about him being soft, he threw all them narratives right out the window with that third quarter and fourth quarter performance that he put out there on display. Even down to, at the end of the game when the little scuffle wanted to almost try to break out, because it's Game 7, you tired of seeing these guys, we've been chirping back and forth and all this other stuff. When that took place, Jared Allen told me, like, man, go home. He like, get out of here. Go home. Go home. I mean, it was pretty demonstrative about it, too. Go home. I've never seen Jared Allen. I've never seen him do anything like that. I've never seen it. So it was, that was a breath of fresh air to see that coming from Jared Allen. So I got to make sure I give extensive kudos to Jared Allen, man. I just only pray that you can keep that up. I pray that you can keep that attitude right there where you tell them, go home, get up out of here, go home. You all this crying and complaining, you trying to start stuff, just go home, just go back, because this over with, okay? And I had a major part to do with why this over with. Get on up out of here, go home. I love that. I can't express how much I love that. Max Strus might not have had the best, offensive game, if you will. Not saying that it was terrible or nothing like that. Normally he probably makes a couple more open threes and different things like that. But what I loved about Max Strus's performance is he was able to be effective on the court even when his shot wasn't necessarily falling. So at one point he had taken I believe in the same quarter, if I'm not mistaken, he had took 3 straight charges that I felt like were huge at the times that he did it, because there were times, they were in the times where the game could potentially, you could kind of feel the momentum start to shift more in the direction of the Raptors. And then it's it's one of those possessions where you kind of you feel like you got to have this possession before that momentum takes the full swing. And then bam, Max Strus would get he'll get a chart, and then, the energy, the fight, the toughness. That's one thing I love about Max Strus. And one of the reasons why I said if it was somebody I was going to insert in that starting lineup, besides Jalen Tyson, then Max Strus would have been, that guy. Because again, like I say, you get the 3-point shooting and whatnot. Slight bit of playmaking ability, slightly. I feel like Tyson's playmaking ability might be a little bit better, but you still get that slight playmaking ability with him. And above all, number one, Strus is a dog. He is a pit bull when he's out there. He's not scared of nothing. He not finna run from no smoke. He's not no pushover. You're not about to just push him over. He's not a flopper, none of that. At one point, his intensity got so high, he threw a headbutt. Threw a headbutt at Scotty Barnes. Had to look over to the bench like, my bad, y'all. I gotta be smarter than that. My fault. I was tripping. I was in the heat of the moment. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to do that, Max Strus, but secretly I'm clapping like, yeah, I love that. There go the fight. There it is. That's it. It's just a certain level of intensity and just smart basketball, that he was providing while he was out there, even if and when the shot wasn't falling. Sam Merrill, few huge threes, that he knocked down, pretty much being who he is, being one of the quote unquote, glue guys, if you will. Cause yes, I do say a lot on here, like if he ain't knocking down them threes, he's effectively useless. I mean, I still pretty much stand to that, because like I say, his best ability is 3-point shooting. Like, can he make smart, high IQ 1-2 dribble passes? Like, yes, he can do that, but that's not his primary game. In fact, like I had pointed out in, I believe it was game 6, for whatever reason, there was one possession where for whatever reason, Sam Merrill was bringing the ball up the court, got his pocket picked clean, just trying to dribble the ball, just trying to bring the ball up the court. And I had tweeted on my Twitter account, Twitter, follow the Twitter account at dogs_OTC. That's DAWGS_OTC on Twitter. Okay, we got the Twitter page up and running now. But like I had even put on there, I'm like Sam Merrill just turned the ball over, just trying to bring it up the court. But then I was like, Kenny, why is Sam Merrill bringing the ball up the court to begin with? Why? I be saying the same thing about when it's Evan Mobley. Like, why you got Evan Mobley bringing the ball up the court? Why? You got all these guards. You got all these little guards on your team. Evan Mobley should never have to bring the ball up the court. Sam Merrill should never have to bring the ball up the court. You got a bunch of guards for that. You got a bunch of little guards for that. Okay? So, I don't understand it. But great job, Sam Merrill. Jalen Tyson. Way to bring that spark. Way to bring that spark off the bench, man. I felt like he came in and provided, a spark. Hit a big three at one point. I felt like his playmaking ability, his willingness to be able to drive to the basket and either look to score or play make, I felt like that took Toronto out of a little bit of what they were doing, because it seemed like what they were doing was a lot of ball pressure and then trapping, especially Donovan Mitchell or James Harden, like as far as they could away from the basket before they could get a chance to get into, their stuff. Felt like they was trapping either Donovan Mitchell or James Harden, trapping them as soon as they possibly could. And from what it seemed like, forcing them to toss the ball to Dean Wade and then just living with whatever Dean Wade did with the ball after they forced it out of Donovan Mitchell or James Harden's hands. And then, hey, man, sorry, it is what it is with Dean Wade. Buddy from 3 couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He hadn't been able to do it the whole season. I think he was shooting maybe 29% from 3 for the series or something like that. I mean, it's just abysmal. It's to the point where, and not only that, but his threes they're wide open. And, one of the things that kind of was affecting him in game 7, and I understand what Wade was doing. It's like, if the 3 ain't going in, why keep shooting it? But it was at one point you could tell where he was kind of hesitant to shoot it. But then, like, even when he would take the 1 or 2 dribbles through the paint or whatever, it wasn't like he would take the 1 or 2 dribbles through the paint and then look to put up like a little floater or, go in to try to make a layup. You know what I mean? It's like he would just take the 1 or 2 dribbles through the paint and then look to try to just get the ball back to Donovan or James Harden or somebody else. And I think the Raptors was kind of sensing that and then leaning into it. Like, all right, okay, well, we're just going to keep forcing the ball out of these 2 guys' hands and give it to him. And he either finna shoot this 3 and miss, or otherwise it don't really look like it don't really look like he's too sure about what he want to do with it. And so now it's just like he's just kind of looking to give it to somebody else instead of, look to score. And for me, it was like when Jalen Tyson came in, it's like he nullified that. Because when Tyson got the ball, let me go down here to the cup and make a move. Let me at least go down here to the cup and act like I'm making a move until somebody stop me. Then boom, I got the nice pocket pass right there. So I think Tyson might have had 4 assists in this game. I think he might have played 19 minutes or something like that. I think he had 4 assists. Good plays too. Not just random assists. You know what I mean? Like they were good plays that was kind of nullifying what Toronto had got comfortable doing to the Cavs, and kind of forcing other people, Dean Wade being one of those main other people, to be more of a scoring threat, or a playmaking threat, as opposed to just allowing Donovan Mitchell and James Harden to do it. So great job, Jalen Tyson. Evan Mobley, chipped in, of course. Dennis Schroeder did a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying? He chipped in as well. I mean, it was a full team effort, man. So I wanted to make sure I handed out the kudos and everything like that. I do want to say, even with Dean Wade, one of the things that I put on the Twitter account, as abysmal as Dean Wade I feel like he was on offense, I do want to make sure that I add in that I do feel like Dean Wade was playing phenomenal defense throughout the series, on Scotty Barnes as well as Brandon Ingram, whenever he was tasked, with guarding those individuals. I think he did an okay job on the Murray Boyles as well when he was, tasked with, with guarding him. So I really liked Dean Wade's defense, throughout the course of the series. I thought he did a good job as far, defensively. I thought he did a good job. Now, for me, I mean, of course, I still would love to see Tyson in that starting lineup there as opposed to Dean Wade, but Kenny tried to mix Max Strus in there a couple games. I mean, it didn't necessarily work the way you probably would have thought it would. I think that's why he went back to Dean Wade in Game 7, but then ultimately, like, if you're asking me, I think the Dean Wade experiment in the starting lineup right there, I think that it should be situation based, and not just a solidified thing. We have to go with that. I think it should be situation based. You know what I mean? And then even if you do start him there, if he struggle hitting them first 2 couple open shots, and it seems like the other team is like forcing that to be a major part of your offense, like we finna trap them and get the ball over there to Wade, and then just let him, if he open, let him shoot it. If you noticing that, then you need to go ahead and get Wade out of there, put somebody in that's going to get them out of that, and then insert Wade back into the game later. Once you done messed up they mojo for that. Get them thinking about doing something else for a little while, then put Dean Wade back in there for his defense and whatnot. So with all of the good positive stuff, let's get to the negatives. Started for me at the end of Game 6. That's where it started for me. And I didn't make the video about it then because I wanted to wait and see what happened come Game 7. Wanted to see what Kenny was doing and different things like that. But let's take a slight step back to Game 6, the end of Game 6, where you're up 1 point. Okay, now it was big talks about how Evan Mobley was fouled. They should have called the foul for that instead of saying that the ball went off of Mobley, and whatnot. That Schroeder or that Harden and Mitchell shouldn't have just been standing there. They should have helped Schroeder out a little bit more, whatever, what have you. I mean, those are all decent, valid points, definitely. Not ignoring those points by any stretch. But I tend to take it a step further and ask why some of these things were even possible to happen to begin with. And I pointed out where Kenny had did something similar to this earlier in the regular season, and said that if he does things like this in the playoffs, I don't understand how we going, how we going to win like this. For me, It was an offensive possession. That's the possession that I'm talking about. And, in game 6, you up 1 point. Basically, all you got to do is just inbound the ball. And then, you're just trying to dribble the clock out. Because the other team, clearly, they want to either force a quick turnover or then foul if you don't force the quick turnover. That's what they're trying to do in that scenario. So for me, this is an offensive possession. My best offensive people need to be on the court, and I mean offensive in every facet of the game, okay? So for me, as much as I love Evan Mobley, he's a terrible free throw shooter this particular season. Well, in this situation right here, you needed good ball handlers out there on the court, good ball handlers, good passers, and good free throw shooters. That's what you need on the court in this particular instance for this specific possession. Good ball handlers, good passers, and good free throw shooters. That's what you need, because that's what's gonna have to happen in this possession right here. Number one, I'm not the biggest Dennis Schroeder fan on the free throw side. I trust Donovan Mitchell and James Harden at the free throw line before I trust and Sam Merrill and Max Strus. I trust all of them at the free throw line before Dennis Schroeder. So starters, I don't understand why we inbounded the ball to Dennis Schroeder. Inbound the ball to James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Kenny Atkinson, draw something up to get Donovan or James Harden open. Or, even though I said Sam Merrill ain't necessarily the best ball handler, inbound it to Sam Merrill. At least let him be, because at least I know he could take 1 or 2 dribbles with it, and then if you foul him, Merrill about to go to the free throw line and knock them down. No problem. Max Strus, either one of these guys, you could have got the ball into their hands. And for me, I just feel like if they're fouled, they're gonna go to the line and have a better chance at knocking down both of those free throws. I trust them, more as free throw shooters than I do Dennis Schroeder. So for me, Schroeder should have never been in that position to begin with. Also, when Schroeder drove the ball, yeah, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell could have moved, but Schroeder drove right past Harden. He could have just handed the ball to him if it was that deep. He could have just handed the ball to him right as he drove past. He could have just handed it to him. Like, here, hot potato, I don't want it no more. Get it out my hands and get it into your hands. You deal with it. But instead, you passed the ball to the worst free throw shooter on the team, in Evan Mobley. And you did that when it's closer to the time that they're trying to foul. That's why they're saying the Murray boys, you can see him. He coming in for he's intentionally trying to foul Mobley, because clearly Mobley is the worst free throw shooter. So it was a good, smart play by Toronto and by Murray Boyles. He coming in trying to foul him. It just so happens the ref didn't call it. Ball off Evan Mobley. Now it goes to them. Okay, Kenny, why the heck is Evan Mobley in the game to begin with? This is an offensive possession. So, we don't need him in there for rebounding. We don't need him in there for shot blocking. What is he even in the game for? Why he in the game? Kenny, you ever heard of offense to defense substitutions or defense to offensive substitutions? Where you make your subs just basically for that one possession in specific. So, for example, if, back in the day, if it was Shaquille O'Neal and it's the other team trying to foul, well, you just take Shaq off the court. We don't want to have him out there. We just about to take him off the court, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. We don't need him out there for this specific possession. We don't need him out there for this. We already have the lead. We don't need him out there for this possession, man. We already got the lead. So for me, that's Kenny. Kenny, what were you doing? Did you draw anything up in the huddle on the sideline for that? Because for some reason, it just seemed like late game situations, closeouts, just getting the ball inbounded and getting it across half court just seems like the toughest thing in the world to do. When it's a close game and we get down to the nitty gritty like that, and we just need to be able to inbound the ball and maintain the possession. For some reason, that just seems like the hardest thing to do for you, Kenny, when you come out of them timeouts. I be thinking, are you drawing anything up over there? And then not only that, but the majority of game 7, when they cutting to Kenny, Kenny over there on the bench like this. He not even leaned up in the chair like this. You know how when you on the video game and stuff get tight, and you gotta lean forward like this. You know what I'm saying? Because people feel like that's you focusing more, you more into the game now. Kenny relax. He's sitting back in the chair like this, with his arms folded like this. For the majority of the game, this is how I saw Kenny Atkinson on the sideline. When I'm looking at the Raptors head coach, I don't think they cut to him one time and Buddy was sitting down. The whole time he working the sidelines. He up barking out instructions, pointing, talking to the refs. I mean, he up and he active the whole time. Every time they cut to Kenny, he sitting in his chair, lean back in the chair too, like this. Every time. Look with that confused look on his face. With his hair all over the place. Look, I ain't trying to judge him off his appearance or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, he be looking like he just woke up after a long night of drinking and just threw some gel in his hair and was like, oh crap, I got a basketball game to coach. All right, well, let me go out there and just sit on the sideline with my arms folded like this. What we be doing out of these timeouts, Kenny? What are we doing? So if you ask me, Kenny blew game 6, in my opinion. Kenny blew that game just by not making his offensive to defensive substitutions. And again, he had did it earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was the game against the Denver Nuggets that I talked about on here. And where he had did the same thing. We had a defensive possession. He had Sam Merrill out there for that. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm not saying that Sam Merrill is the worst defender ever in the NBA. That ain't what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this, as far as making one defensive stop, or you get in a potential where the other team get the ball in the hands of their best player and you force to defend this guy one-on-one. Well, I don't want to put Sam Merrill in a situation like that. Let me just put a guy that's just better at defending one-on-one, okay? So that way, if they just so happen to try to set a screen and then get somebody one-on-one with Sam Merrill, it's like, nah, I don't even want to put you in that position. So let me just deploy a defensive lineup. This is a defensive possession. I don't need any buckets. So let me just put all defensive people out here. It's a mental blunder, in my opinion, on Kenny Atkinson. And just to be clear, okay, and respectfully, man, I feel like they should be able to get me some, come on, man, give me a subscription. If you didn't subscribe to me before and you got a chance to watch this video and you done lasted this long, give me a subscription for this one, because watch this. I'm finna point out to you where I've said something previously about Kenny just throwing crap at the wall with these lineups, just the fact that he won't solidify lineups and get guys used to playing with one another because we're normally deployed in the same lineup together. When it just seemed like Kenny just be throwing crap out at the wall and we'll just see what sticks. And I was like, all right, that's cool for experimenting, like earlier in the season, or when you playing bum teams and stuff like that, you just experimenting with lineups, whatever, cool. Okay, but when you playing the sweet teams, get some solidified lineups so you can send messages in the regular season. And then by God, when we get to the postseason, you need to have some solidified lineups instead of just throwing crap at the wall, because that's not what you should be doing in the playoffs. So I'm going to play a quick clip of myself pointing this out before, and then I'm going to play a clip of Kenny admitting that he's just experimenting with some crap out there in game 6, in his post-game interview. He just admitted, we was just trying stuff. So if it don't nothing else earn me no subscription, I mean, it should be me predicting, kind of pretty much just telling you. And then, bam, the same thing I say, what do you know? Kenny comes out and says it out of his own mouth. So here I go. Let's listen to me right quick, man, and how I was cooking this particular game. And respectfully, again, that's why I say, if I see him doing this crap in the playoffs, I might lose it. My gray hair, I might have more gray hairs everywhere by that time. Because I'm hearing people, it ain't the playoffs, he's still trying to experiment. I'm like, I get it, but the season almost over with. So that experimenting stuff, that need to be over with too. You need to start solidifying lineups. That way, when the postseason get here, the lineups are already solidified. You're not trying to search to find the solidified lineup. Nope, I need the lineups to already be solidified going into the playoffs. So that way people get used to playing with each other.
and they know what's going on. I'm in the lineup with this guy. I'm typically in the lineup with this guy. I know his moves. Whatever. So, hey, man, it's looking, people ain't really on you like that right now, Kenny, because, you've managed to win. But once if the losses start happening here with these, you deploying all these little guards out there, you're going to get exposed. And especially come playoff time, if you try to keep giving Craig Porter Jr. all these minutes, you keep trying to put Craig Porter Jr. out there, you're going to get exposed. Like, you're going to get exposed, bro. I'm sorry. So, I mean, we're going to see what happens.
And I go on to, but I think I proved the point. I go on and talk about it a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I pretty much think I, proved the point there for what I was saying. And again, you just throwing crap at the wall and trying to see what lineup you might be able to get the stick out of all of the crap that you just throwing up against the wall. And I'm sorry, personally, I just don't feel like the NBA playoffs, especially when you got a clear path to the NBA finals, I don't think that the playoffs is the spot that you need to be doing all this experimenting with lineups. Like, I don't get it. So now let's play. Here's Kenny letting you know his quote is, we tried a lot of different stuff tonight. 3 guards. We're trying to find what clicks. What? First of all, you're in the playoffs. Not only are you in the playoffs, buddy, this is game 6. Hold on, let me just listen to Kenny. You don't need to listen to me. Listen to Kenny.
Tried a lot of different stuff tonight. 3 guards. We're trying to find what clicks. You move around, and we got to that lineup. It was good for us.
And again, my thing is, Kenny, like, what? And this was an overwhelming thought as well on Twitter. Kenny, why are you still trying to see what clicks? Like, because this is my thing. I could see if we were talking about an adjustment, like there was something in specific, something about your team that you do. Other team made an adjustment to counter it. And so then now you have to make a counter adjustment to that. Those types of situations I can understand if you want to classify under trying to see what clicks. But when we're talking about experimenting with lineups, trying to see what clicks, we did a lot of 3 guards. Well, duh, Kenny. You run more guard heavy sets than anybody I done seen in the league, man. Outside of maybe Kerr over there with Golden State. But respectfully, they got Stephen Curry over there. So Steve Kerr they done won championships doing that little guard stuff. So like, if anybody could be excused to do it, it's him. Now I know you was over there with them, but you not Steve Kerr, and we don't have Stephen Curry on the Cavs team. Okay, and the championship that we did win, we didn't have Steph Curry for that either in 2016. Okay, so all the little guard stuff that you keep doing, I don't get it. And not only that, but one of the reasons I felt it was so detrimental against the Toronto Raptors is because they had a lot of length. Like, they had wings out the wazoo. Like, they had wings out of the wazoo. So, you keep running these guard-heavy lineups, and then next thing you know, they're getting these switches to where mano a mano, the person might not necessarily be able to guard Scotty Barnes, and then now we got somebody coming to help, and then Scotty Barnes was just picking apart with them passes. I mean, he was just picking them apart, passing it to Shed in the corner. I got so tired of seeing Shed make them 3. I got tired of him. The Jameson battle, I got tired of him making 3s. I'm so glad that the Raptors, they should have played him more. If it was anything that other coach that I could say he messed up with, because he was out coaching Kenny he was doing a great job out coaching Kenny. That was the one spot where I felt like, but he didn't maximize his coaching. He should have played battle a little bit more, especially when Scotty Barnes had to go sit down when he picked up that 5th foul. He should have played that Jameson Battle kid more, because Battle, not only was he, he got the length and, pretty good defender from what I done seen and stuff like that, but he was not shy of any moment And it just seemed like almost any three that Battle put up, it went in for some odd reason. Like, I felt like he should have gave Buddy some more minutes. The same way I feel like Kenny should give Jalen Tyson more minutes. I felt like that Battle kid from Toronto, he should have got some more minutes, in my opinion. So I'm glad they coach didn't wake up and see that. I'm glad he didn't wake up and see that. But so in closing, this is what we'll get to, man. I heard some people say that they wanted to play the Detroit Pistons instead of the Orlando Magic. In fact, even my own brother, because we saw it differently. He wanted to play the Pistons instead of the Magic. He felt like the Magic would give us more of a. I'm like, nah, man. I'd rather play the Orlando Magic. I'd rather play them. You know, not only that, you already got a playoff series win over them, so you quite naturally you would just have the all right, you know what I'm saying? Same thing. We did this once before. Let's go ahead and do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of know what they do over there, so let's get it. What I'm scared about against the Detroit Pistons, what I'm honestly scared about, because number one, Kenny. I don't think Kenny's a better coach than JB. I don't. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. So that's just the starters. Okay? I don't think Kenny's a better coach, man. I don't. And respectfully, like I said before, if this team don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, bare minimum, Kenny needs to be fired. And even if they do make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion, they didn't make it there because of Kenny. They didn't make it there because of Kenny Atkinson. That ain't gonna be why they made it there. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not looking at Kenny like, yeah, he's doing his masterful coaching job, and that's how you got to, like, no, he's not doing no Eric Spoelstra type stuff out there. He ain't even doing the type stuff that Buddy do in OKC or the coach doing over there in San Antonio. That ain't what Kenny out there doing. So, number one, the coaching aspect. I feel like they got the advantage there. But not only that, outside of all of the X's and O's and the analytics and the numbers and all that other stuff, man, the number one reason why I ain't want to play the Pistons is because the Pistons get up for the Cavs. The Pistons, first of all, they play with the JB mentality, okay? Because they got the defense and the grit and all of that stuff over there that the Cavs had when JB was here. And then since we switched to Kenny, it's just full-blown soft, and we shoot a lot of threes, and we don't really have no toughness, and we ain't really got no grit. JB is hard-nosed, tough, gritty, defense first, and then we'll just figure the offense out. We'll figure that out. We'll figure out how to get buckets. But what we is going to do is we're going to play this defense, and we're going to be tough. That's what we're going to do, because that's what's going to keep us in every game. So they have that mentality, and then to top it off, there's we want to do this for our coach. Like, it's like they're one and the same with JB. It's like they, as bad as JB want to beat Cleveland to prove y'all did the wrong thing by letting me go, it's like the Detroit Pistons basketball team feel the exact same way every time they play the Cavs. It's like, oh no, we gotta beat them. We gotta beat them. We gotta beat them for coach. And man, oh man, that worries me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That worries me because I just watched the series from the Cavs where the only time it seemed like they had any type of fight in them was when they was playing at home. And then that wouldn't even be for the full 48 minutes of basketball. Cavs wasn't looking like they had no fight in them until midway through the second quarter and then the third and fourth quarters of Game 7. Game 7, you should come out. I mean, it should be all-out effort. You should be diving for the loose ball on the first possession in Game 7. It seemed like it took a while to ramp that up. I don't think it's going to take the Pistons no time to ramp up in any game. I think they're going to be ready to go. Now, Pistons got home court advantage in this series. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Cavs in 6. I'm not so sure they'd win a Game 7 in Detroit. So I think if you're going to beat them, I think your best chance to beat them is in 6. You're going to have to steal one of them first 2 games at their house. I don't think you want to see a game 7 in Detroit, especially with the way the game 7 was going and it was here. I don't want to. After I watched that, I don't want it to be left up to a game 7 in Detroit. We ain't got LeBron and Kyrie no more, so I don't want it to be left up to a game 7 in Detroit. Would it still be possible to win that? Yes. I'm just saying I don't want to chance that. I don't want to. I'd rather not, if you can. So, the homer in me is gonna pick the Cavs in 6. But I am extremely concerned, and I mean extremely concerned, because for all intensive purposes, this is JB's championship. This the finals for him. This the NBA finals for him. Because you got to look at it. When they fired JB, they didn't really switch the roster. So when they fired you, it was basically saying, well, the roster is good enough, you just not good enough. This was 2 years ago. It wasn't like this was 10 years ago. This was 2 years ago. They basically said, well, the roster is good enough, you just not good enough as a coach. But then since then, even though it's only been 2 years, well, we changed the roster. We don't have Darius Garland no more. We changed the roster. Okay. Now, I mean, a couple other pieces as well, but that was one of the main pieces, Darius Garland. You know what I mean? Because we came back, ran back whole core 4, all that thing. Well, this time now in specific, with the players being changed, well, if JB, because for me, that's admitting like, all right, well, your roster clearly wasn't right then, right? So that's already a W for JB. Well, clearly it wasn't just me then, because you changed up the roster some. So clearly you didn't believe in the roster then, right? And then the final nail in the coffin for JB would be, well, even after you switched up that roster and made it better, and you supposedly have the better coach, how did I beat you? Like, you know what I mean? If JB wins, how did I beat you then? How did I beat you? If it was me. Because that's what you said when you got rid of me and hired him. Basically, you were saying it was me. It wasn't the player. The team was fine. It was just me. Well, since then, you've admitted that the team wasn't fine because you moved pieces around and you trade, you changed pieces and all this other stuff. And then now, and you still got the same coach. So now you should be deemed to be better in every aspect. Better players. And you got the better coach. You got the coach that's better than me, right? So there's no way that I should beat you. That concerns me. That worries me. So we'll see how things go. Hopefully, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell can have a better, showing in this series. I don't think that they'll play the way that they was playing in that last series the entire time. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'll get it together where, one of them, explodes for 30 or 40 points, something like that. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel like if they do, we'll have to capitalize on that. We can't waste, that type of performance, because I believe the main way that you can beat, Detroit and you can beat them in 6, you have to keep your foot on the gas, because, if you had one of those games where you got it cooking offensively, you got to be able to win that game. You can't let them back in it. If you got one of those games where Detroit is struggling offensively, you have to win that game. There's no way that you allow them to win a game where they struggle offensively. Because if you allow them to win a game or 2, oh goodness, if it's 2, that's really crazy. But if you allow them to win a game and it's a game where they were struggling offensively, to me that breeds the possibility of losing the series. You have to capitalize if and when they struggle on offense. You got to capitalize because they're clearly the better defensive team. So when they struggle on offense, which they usually have a tendency to do, you have to capitalize. You can't lose a game where they struggle on offense. You can't do it because that's going to be a recipe for losing the series, if you ask me. So Kenny, I've been said you was on the clock, but this is a direct head-to-head matchup right here with pretty much all of the marbles on the table because this is to see who goes to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, Kenny, for me, you at the bare minimum have to make it there for anybody in my mind to entertain you still being here. But for me, I'm going to be honest with you. With what I've seen in round one of the playoffs, I'm going to take it a step further. You have to make it to the NBA Finals, especially with the Boston Celtics being put out. You got to make it. You got to make it to the finals. If not, I need you to get up out of here. A finals appearance is going to be the only way that I would ever entertain somebody saying that you should still be the coach. Okay, so Kenny, it's going to get real dicey for you, my man, because they was already calling for you after Game 6. That I had an unpopular opinion in the beginning when I was talking about I didn't want you here no more. And then after Game 6, I'll be darned, everybody that I was seeing. Even some of your biggest supporters, I'm seeing what is Kenny doing? What's up with the lineups? Why does he keep sticking with Dean Wade? And Dean Wade ain't doing nothing but missing these shots out there. It's gotten real dicey. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. That'll be tomorrow. Tonight I'm gonna be taking in the other series. Philly and the New York Knicks. I'm getting ready to watch them in probably about an hour and a half or so. So we'll see how it goes, Kenny. But you on the clock, my guy. Dogs on the couch. Signing off.